me get situated. It's been a minute. I feel so rusty. What is wrong with me? Make sure my phone is on silent. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. Oh my God. Okay, we're gonna leave it there. Let's just go. Hello, hello, hello. My name is Nakia. Welcome to my channel. I'm back. Finally. Like I said in the intro part, I feel so rusty and weird, but I'm happy to be back. I missed you all so much. It has been almost 3 months. I cannot believe it. I had filmed a video in February that was going to be for like the Valentine's weekend. I will save that for next year, but you never saw it because I was in the middle of editing it when my computer died. So that is what this video is about, because we got to talk about things. Where have I been? Where have I been? Now, I have been updating things on my community tab and in my Instagram stories, but in case you don't check those, you know, I'm not even on social media like that as much. So I get it. You know, everybody doesn't see the community tabs also. I know sometimes they don't show up for people, but that's what this video is about. A little catch up. Also, I didn't want to type a whole novel in the community tab to tell you all the details. So we're going to just have a little chit chat today. Also, I wanted to do just a quick little video to get back into the swing of things, make it separate from a wrap up, because that's coming next. I got to tell you about all the books I've read during these 3 months and DNF'd, of course. But anyway, let's get into where I've been, what happened with my computer, and where we are now. All right, so let me take you back to the second week of February. I had this routine where every morning I would get up and turn my computer on and let it run and get situated while I was milling about and getting some things ready for work. I work from home, in case you don't know. And my computer, you know, I've had it for a bit, so it took a minute to get up and running. I like to make sure I wasn't having any issues, there was no updates needed, all that good stuff. So on this Monday morning, I go to turn my computer on and it would not turn on. The lights came on, but it would not boot up. And I was like, what is going on? What happened? I went to bed that night. It was fine. I woke up the next day, nothing. So of course I did the whole thing where I checked my power, unplugged it, plugged it back in. You know, I was like, did we have a power outage last night? Everything else seemed fine in my apartment. All the, you know, clocks, everything. So I was like, this makes no sense. I was distraught because mainly I needed to work. So luckily on that day, my daughter was going out, so I was able to use her computer. But I was just like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I was like, you know what? It's probably going to be fine. We'll get this situated. So a little bit of backstory about my computer. My brother has built all of our computers in my family. My computer, my daughter's computer, my mother's computer, my stepdad's computer, his own computers, all of them. So this is why this was not just a, oh, let me contact Geek Squad or whatever. I was like, let me contact my brother. So I messaged him and told him what happened. And, you know, it was like, we're going to have to deal with this later when I'm done with work because I have work to do. Okay, now bear with me. This happened months ago, so things are fuzzy and there has just been so much in the in-between. But basically what happened was later that evening, I got on Zoom with my brother and he had me open up my computer. I was like, what are we going to do? I don't know what I'm doing. I am not a computer person. That's him. But he was like, you know, we're going to check some things out. So what became the beginning of a long journey was he had me look at the CPU of the computer, take off the cooling fan and look at the CPU to make sure there was enough thermal paste on it. Now, I'm not going to get into all that because I have learned so much in this process. My friend said I could work in IT now. We're not going that far. But I have done a lot with my computer that I would have never thought I could do. But I learned that thermal paste is something you put on your CPU to make sure your computer stays cool. So when I looked at it, it was like bone dry. So he was like, well, let's start with putting more thermal paste on there and make sure it's, you know, cool. So I did that. What I did not know was that you can only put the processor back onto the motherboard one way. And if you put it back on the wrong way, you ruin your motherboard. So what did I do? Put it on the wrong way. This was a costly mistake because I ruined my motherboard. Now, luckily I had some money set aside that covered this. And My computer, as I said, had not been redone or anything. Everything in there was old, had been in there for years. So I was kind of like, well, I'm due for an upgrade. So I wasn't like devastated. I didn't want to spend that money, but I was kind of like, okay, well, I'm going to get all new stuff. But I also was just like, I cannot believe I just ruined my motherboard, because the next thing we probably would have checked was the power source, and maybe that was the issue. We would have fixed that and ordered a new power source, which cost like $100, and that would have been that. I will never know, because I ruined my motherboard and I had to replace a ton of things. I had to replace the motherboard, cooling fan, I got a new processor, a lot of things. Also, I forgot to say, my brother is like 6 hours drive away from me. So we had to do all of this over FaceTime, and I was just like, how am I going to do all this stuff? But spoiler alert, I did it. Yes, I did it. So going forward after that, everything I did, I would ask him, is this right? Is this how it's supposed to go in? Before I do this, am I holding this right? Am I putting this in right? Are you sure? Look at this. Let me zoom in. Let me take a picture. I was not playing, because I was not trying to mess up nothing else. So long story short, it took weeks to go through, because it wasn't every day. You know, my brother, he has children and I work. We had to do these things as we could. So it was over days, it was over nights, it was over weekends. And it was also like I had to order stuff. I had to wait to get money, because I also have bills to pay. Contrary to popular belief, I do not make anything off of YouTube. I mean, it's chump change. It's really not much. I could do a video on it, but it wouldn't even be much. It would be short and sweet and you'd be like, that's it. But I mean, this gives me nothing. So everything I spent on my computer came from me. I did get donations from some of you during that time, and I'm so grateful. And as I said to you, when I responded and said thank you, every penny went towards my computer. So as I said, I had to order all these things, wait for them to come, get to the weekend when I could get on with my brother, and we would be on till like 2 a.m. I mean, it was a lot. But as I said, I learned so much about my computer. Now I know my computer inside and out. Like, I know it. It is really my baby now, because I changed my computer's parts. I did it. So I'm like, I know what my motherboard looks like now. I know what the processor looks like. I know how it was plugged up. I know what connects to what, all that stuff. It is just so fascinating. So anyway, fast forward again. Lord, I can't believe I used to talk this much all the time. Jeez. For those of you who don't do videos, it's a lot. Anyway, so then after we replaced all these things, it was time for the moment of truth, which was to plug the computer on and see if it was working. So we did. And can't remember at this point, it's so long ago. I think we got the boot up screen and we just could not get the computer to boot up. Like I said, don't quote me on this. I don't fully remember. It's just been so much. It just became a point where we couldn't get it to boot up. So then my brother was like, you can create a boot up drive from the other computer in your home, my daughter's computer, and we can use that to boot it up and have a temporary Windows boot up, and then you can deal with that after we get it booted up. So that was another day where I was like, that's a job for another day. Another time we got on, tried that, it would not work. And I was just like, I don't believe this. So we got to a point where I was like, the only thing is it just will not boot up. It's running, it's powering on, it just will not boot up. So this has to be a simple solution. So I was like, I'm gonna take it to a computer repair place that my brother had recommended to me. We used them years ago. They will give you a free diagnostic. So I did that, and I had to wait. And my whole thinking was that this is gonna be quick. It's gonna be like $100. They're gonna be like, oh, we just need to put Windows on here, and that was it. No. They called me and told me that my 2 hard drives that I had on my computer were both bad. One was just dead and the other one was bad. Now, if you don't know about computers, or you have a PC, not a laptop, know this. I learned this from my brother, and thank God this is something he taught us years ago. But you should not have any of your actual files like documents, pictures, videos. None of those should be on your C drive. They should all be on an external hard drive, because my external hard drives were unplugged, so everything I needed was on my external hard drives. The only thing that was on my C drives and the other drive were just like programs I had downloaded, which you can always re-download. So I was like, are you kidding me? And the place quoted me $230 to replace my hard drives and try to clone what they could from the one that was working. I was like, $230? Are you kidding me? At this point, I had probably spent about $600. So put it in perspective. So I messaged my brother and told him what they said. He was like, no, go get your computer. We can replace the hard drives for way cheaper than that. They're not that expensive. Now, if he had said this to me months ago, I'd have been like, what do you mean we? Who's we? But at this point, I was like, if I could change a motherboard and I could put in a processor and I could put on thermal paste and put my graphics card in, we could do a hard drive. Plus, he was like, the new ones are way easier to put in, which they are. So anyway, picked up my computer and I was like, this is more money I don't have right now. So it was on hold. And let me bring you to current because some of you are like, I don't know computers, I really don't care, and I feel like this is just gonna be long. Let's speed this up. So basically, I ordered 2 hard drives, waited for them to come. We got them, put them in, it still wouldn't boot up because we could not get the boot up drive to work. And so I ended up watching a video on YouTube. I will link it here below because it was a lifesaver. This channel, I don't remember the name, I will put it here on the screen, but the guy actually did a sponsorship for getting keys for Windows in the video. And he was saying, you know, I've checked these and many people have bought them. And he also had been promoting this for like 3 years on his channel. And they were only $14. So I was like, you know what? I wanted Windows 10, not Windows 11. I was like, it can't hurt. It's $14. If I waste $14, oh well. And if it doesn't work, then I will have to spend 100 and something and buy Windows 11 because you cannot find Windows 10 anywhere now because Microsoft stopped selling it. So anyway, I downloaded this key, paid $14, and it worked. Hallelujah, we are back in business. And that is where we are today. As I said, it was a long road. And the reason why it took so long, as I said, is because we could only work on it every once in a while because of, like I said, both of us being busy. On my end, it was a financial part. You know, I had to wait and pay bills and get things when I could. And then troubleshooting. I mean, it was just, like I said, it was a long time. I said to my daughter, I can't really say I regret it because now my computer is like new. Even when I took it to the computer repair shop, they were trying to charge me more because they were like, it's a custom build and it's a gaming computer. I was like, I don't game. This is not a gaming computer. I beg your pardon. The guy was like, it's a nice build. I'm like, oh, I know. So my brother has always done a great job on all of our computers. I cannot thank him enough for building my computer in the first place, for helping me to fix it on FaceTime. Now he also enjoys this, so it was fun for him. Frustrating for me in a lot of moments, but fun for him. But I cannot thank him enough because, like I said, now my computer is like new. Everything runs so fast. It's whisper quiet. In my old videos, you could actually hear it in the background. You probably would be like, no, I couldn't. But the fan, it just made noise. And now, like I said, I don't even hear it. I'm like, is it on? Is it working? It is. Again, now I know how to open it up and check things. And anyway, I'm just so happy to be back. And I have to thank you all for sticking by me, for waiting, for watching this video, for clicking on it. As I said, we will be back to regularly scheduled programming next week. And a special thank you to those of you who were watching my old videos to make sure my videos, you know, stay out there, stay in your feed. Again, for those of you who donated, that really meant so much to me. You know, I was still watching videos and commenting. I was still keeping up, you know, things on Goodreads. I wasn't posting reviews because I wanted you to wait. And again, I was still commenting here and there on Instagram and doing what I could. Just couldn't do any videos. And you may be like, why couldn't you edit? Again, my editing software was on my computer. I was able to get a laptop from my job so I could work. And that's another reason why this took so long because, you know, I was like, I can work. That's what's most important. I did not want to put any editing software on my laptop because it belongs to my company. And, you know, I also didn't want to inconvenience my daughter and be editing on her computer. So it was like, you know what? This is a hobby. I'm not going to stress out about it. I will get back to it when I can. So I'm finally back. So anyway, I feel like this may not be all that cohesive and all over the place. And it may not be interesting to some of you because you don't care about computers. But I really wanted to explain everything because I kept throwing updates out there. And I was like, I don't think they understand that I'm working on my computer on FaceTime with my brother as someone who knows nothing of what they're doing, which is why it took so long. Like my brother was like, if he had it, he probably would have had it fixed in like a day or two. But because it was me and I had to figure things out and we're working on, you know, FaceTime and the camera, I'm trying to show him things. It was a lot, but I'm proud of myself for doing it. I still can't believe it. So I hope that I don't have this problem again. I will say that in the future, I probably would have just taken it to the computer repair shop in the first place because I would have got the diagnosis to help my brother know what we need to do instead of us trying to troubleshoot and figure it out. And I made it worse. So anyway, hopefully there will be no more delays, but things happen. I think I've said enough. I am back. That is it. So as always, ways you can support my channel are always linked below. I talked about you could donate towards coffee, tea, books, computer stuff, all that good stuff. And my Goodreads, everything's linked below. And if you have questions or comments, feel free to let me know in the comments. And for this video, it is so appropriate that if you want to let me know you made it this far and or you have no other comment, you just want to show me some love, you can leave me a computer emoji because that's what we're talking about today. And I think that is all for this video, my beautiful people. So, no, you missed this. Until next time, snuggle up in your hideaway with a good book, unplug as much as possible, be kind to all kind, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.